morning. Thank you very much that Martin gave up his time for me. I always try to say, anytime you get an opportunity to talk to a group of people, you take it, especially if you believe in what your cause is. And my drive to do that is founded in my faith. And it's so wonderful to keep repeating that. And if every speaker says that, you're gonna have a dynamics that will allow you to bring this into the community that's going to be accepted. But I only saw the camera there. I wanted to get my face on the camera in case they want to do some clips. But I'm more talking about community. So I'm going to come out into the crowd. Now, I was a drill sergeant for 3 years, so I got a good enough voice that I don't need the microphone. Because I think it's important to understand what we do is part of other people's lives. So it's not just politics, it's family. And if you can be part of their family, honestly and earnestly, and that's where your care comes from, then we can do things together. So let me come out there. Now, Martin mentioned to you the C3. And what the C3 is it's a birthing thing that we got going on now. So I say that because it's brand new. And maybe we're about a year old. And what we did was we consolidated past candidates and past elected officials, and we said, hey, you don't have a forum to continue to help your communities. Yet you are the person that put yourself out there for the communities. And you're back there and you're saying, now what do I do? Win, lose, or indifferent, you still care. And you need a leverage or a forum to where people will accept you. Before I ran for U.S. Senate, I did twice the amount of work for the communities in the state, but nobody would have anything to do with it. Now I call it to Jeff City. Anybody I call up there, they call me back right away. They call the other secretaries, and the other representatives call me back right away. I call our congressman, any one of them. They call me back the same day because they know that we have that long arm of the people that will get things done in the community for them. We haven't spent anybody's money yet except for volunteer money. And I easily know we have costs that went over $52,000. So what I say to you is that forum of those individuals working in a network, they're there. They're part of their community. They're embedded. So if you needed something somewhere in the state, you call me up as your regional chairperson. And my area is the West, but I spend a lot of time over here in the East. And that costs me a little bit extra money, but I'm willing to do it. And our principle is if our calendar's open, we'll be there. That's the type of people that have been out there representing. More people have lost that could do greater things in your community than the people that won. I challenge you to research that because they're the ones that continue doing things in their community. And that's the people that are already working hard for you. We've already vetted them. We know what they're about. I don't call somebody up and put them in front of your forum 200 miles away from me and not understanding who they are. So you're getting trusted, validated, educated, learned information, and an inspirational person talking to you. So that allows people to get drawn in. So that's what C3 is about. And he only gave me 5 minutes, so Gina, his trusted second there, the better half, told me to write it down because she knows I'm allowed now. And we'll have breakouts, so I'm going to try to inspire questions. You can hit me up today, and I'll come back and address anything you got. But Martin asked me to talk about, okay, so we're talking about minority groups that generally vote Democrat, or you have a group of people that generally vote Republican. All those things don't matter. When you train somebody to develop their voting style, their beliefs, and their methodologies in a way that they can simultaneously make decisions and systematically choose, and they understand that they have choices to go against what they believed in the past and to build on what they're going to believe in the future. See, people need to have a future. They need to know that they're part of other people's future, that they have the ability and know-how, and that's what you're providing them with. But it all starts with you not telling them what's going to work for them, not talking about the residual effects, not using history to show what was good and what was bad, but to use what they already know. So you have to ask questions and explain things. Ask questions and explain things. But the most important thing that people want is to know that you care to listen. You already know what you know. So to help somebody, you want to know what they know. You want to know what their concerns are. Now, when I traveled around, I traveled with a crew like Christy Nichols, Hector Maldonado. Check these guys out. They ran for Senate too. We would hit a town and knock on a minimum of 1,500 doors. The goal was always 5,000. So thousands and thousands and thousands of people had one of us at their door, listening and learning. That's what you need to do to be an activist. Now, you're already here. You're already doing more than what your community does. Now you need to learn, even if it feels like you got to humble yourself a little bit, how to put yourself in the shoes. I'm telling you, when you walk into somebody's home on the pretenses of very strange feeling. But you walk in there under the pretenses of caring, and you honestly care. I mean, that's why you're walking in. That's why you knocked on their door, or that's why you spoke to them at your church. You'll feel a whole nother surrounding, and that goes back to your faith. And you'll see things that will stick in your mind forever in their homes. I can literally picture thousands of people's homes. When I talk about somebody or think about somebody, I picture something in their home that meant something to them. A picture, a piece of furniture, a story they told me about their grandparents, and they showed me the grandparents' clock. Those are the types of things that are the foundingness of America. I just created a new word, but that's what came out of it. And that's okay, because I'm a person. See, we were talking about McCain and Obama before. I wouldn't have voted for McCain for any reason. I don't care for McCain. He's not a person. He's a machine. But I voted for McCain. President Obama won, and we should always give the president full respect, even if we don't agree with him. That's part of being a person, right? Respect both ways. He won because he was a person. And you got to give it to him. I may not agree with 90% of the things that he's done, but he's accomplished what he said he was going to do. And people are saying, oh, we were fooled. How are you fooled? He told you that's what he wanted to do. So when you're asking people questions, the example that I always use, because in Missouri, out there in the country, people label themselves bigger than most areas. They label themselves, they stereotype themselves. So we got a lot of stereotypes going back and forth. And if we're going to bring minority groups, and I'm not just talking about black people, black American, I don't get hung up on wording. We're all people to me. So when you get to know me, if I say something that offends you, you'll know I didn't mean to, but what do we call ourselves? You got to get people off of that because that hangs them up on their stereotypes. Who you are, when you walk away, if they have a sense of who they are, and they say, hey, I am like that guy, you've achieved a lot. Not only spiritually for that person, but possibly politically for us. Now, if you work on what's actually going to be part of their life, they're going to care. If you go into all the reasons why this political ideology and that political ideology is better for their community, or that you're the person to make it happen, you're not really caring about them. You're caring about your agenda. So I have an agenda. My long-term goal is to be the governor of this fine state, and to be the governor that everybody said, boy, I'm really proud that I voted for that guy. That's my long-term goal. But that's 10, 15 years down the road. And in between now and then, when people see me, I want to say, that's the guy that was at my house. That's the guy that visited my church. That's the person that said nothing at all to me, but I believe in him because he listened to me. He cares. Well, how does he care? His actions proved it. So I don't want to tell you what I'm going to do. I want to show you what I'm going to do. And that's the type of stuff that we'll talk about in the breakout. So, my belief in America is, first of all, you have choices. And those choices are embedded in you by your family and your religion. And I'm going back to my notes so I can close up, because I know somebody's kicking me somewhere. So, children, church, and neighborhood. Children, church, and neighborhood. Money doesn't make the world go around. Children, church, and neighborhood. They make the money. They make the world go around. Somebody's got to spend the money. Somebody's got to make the money. How it's done is based on how we teach our children, how we believe together as a church, and how we bring it out to our neighborhood. So the thing that I want to leave you with, so don't take too long, is when you come to these forums, you're already doing it. You already care. That's a proven. That's your action. But what are you going to do with the information when you leave? Did you bring a notebook? Did you take notes? Did you say, oh, my agenda off of that note is this, this, and this? Oh, let me take a minute to say, this is how I think I can accomplish that. When you walk away from each group, okay, what did I get from that? How am I going to get that forward? I really don't know how to move that forward, but I know I want to. Who do I go to help me get there? That's what C3 does for you. If you task me to come and talk about the fourth paragraph of the 10th Amendment that we're writing for some arbitrary bill, I know nothing about it. You explain it to me, I can tell you whether I think I believe in it or not. But I bet you I can find the person that wrote that legislation. Or I can find out which lobbyist wrote it and we can see why. I bet you we can do that as a team, But nobody knows everything. We have to work together. We've got to break all walls. And the key to coming to these forums is when you leave out of here today, or any forum you go to like this, if there was a person in that room you didn't talk to, you didn't try to make yourself effective. Now, that might not be your purpose. That's my purpose. Not all of you can travel all around the state and do those types of things. Or go up like Mark and I do and deliberate at Jeff City. We do it all the time. We go to all the committees. We get all this. When something conservative is being fought or your choices are being stolen, we're up there lobbying for the people. C3 is lobbyists for the people. There's no agenda other than the
conservative view. And sometimes we have to go up there and explain why conservative view is not working for a particular community. That could be true too. Or why it has to be second or wait. Sometimes it's not the right time for that to happen. Because people need transition time if you're going to be part of their life. If you're part of their transition, then they'll believe in themselves. They'll find their religion, because hopefully you're going to incorporate that in everything. And they'll believe in America. Because they'll be America. Okay? So what are you going to take away? How are you going to use it? If you don't know those things, those are the types of questions you ask. If somebody today inspires you, before they leave, say, hey, how can I be part of that? Or, I enjoyed what you said. I heard it many different ways. How do I go and validate this? Where do I start researching this? I enjoyed what you said, but I want to look into it a little bit more. Nothing is supposed to be taken with a grain of salt. One piece of sand on the beach is not what you rely on. Those are rumors. You validate. Make sure that you know how to express it, and you don't speak with a split tongue. Say your prayers, honestly study, honestly express, and you'll be successful. Okay, so if I don't talk to everybody in the room, I didn't do what I said. That's my closure. It's always my goal. At least one conversation. Now, I'll say a prayer when I sit down that you all heard me, but I honestly mean that. Okay? Thank you, Martin, and so excited to be with you, and I'll be here all day.